Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of Notes from the Swamp. A bunch of stories that I've read that I want to share with you that are absolutely disgusting and, well, belong in a swamp. So let's get started. So, if there's one thing we've learned in American history throughout the 20th century, it's that physical traits determine worthiness. Australian students starting in kindergarten will be required to study male privilege and how masculinity encourages control and dominance over women as part of a new school course aimed at combating family violence. The Victorian government is planning to blow $16.5 million on the program, despite complaints that it fails to take into account that family violence is a result of multiple and complex factors and that the program borders on brainwashing children. The report evaluating the pilot program launched in 19 schools last year also found that it's a risk. I don't think there's any risk about it. That it risks alienating men. The lesson presents all men as bad and all women as victims. Because as we know, it's what's between your legs that determines who you are as a human being. So what's next, Australia? We're going to have male-only drinking fountains? Does anybody remember Joe Wurzelbacher, better known as Joe the Plumber? If you recall, in 2008, he dared ask Obama a question. This wasn't even in a debate. It was an on-the-street question, and it was a legitimate question. But it did kind of embarrass Obama, or at the very least, it opened up some questions that people began using as to try to say, hey, maybe your economic program isn't all that good. Well, once he did that, the media went and started attacking him. And I mean, they started digging up dirt on this guy. At one point, government computers were used to find information on Joe the Plumber. State and local officials are investigating if the state and law enforcement systems were illegally accessed when they were tapped for personal information about Joe the Plumber. He became part of the national political lexicon October 15, 2008, when the Republican presidential candidate John McCain mentioned him frequently during his final debate with Democrat Barack Obama. He was from a Toledo suburb of Holland and held out by McCain an example of an American who would be harmed by Obama's tax proposals. It wasn't really that what he asked that was really that important. It was the fact that he was used, like the Democrats are always trotting out people, and Republicans too, to try to bolster their particular position. But what's different about this is that they went after this guy. They started looking into his records. They started trying to find out everything about him. They started smearing him. At one point, Bill Maher said, well, he's not a real plumber. Suffice to say, this was an American citizen who asked a politician a question, and he was driven through the ringer. Well, now let's take a look at good old Ken Bone. Ken Bone was the weird-looking individual who asked a question, and suddenly they started digging dirt on him and found he had bad opinions. At one point, he said the killing of Trayvon Martin was justified, which it was. Whether or not you feel that George Zimmerman is a piece of shit, which I kind of do, the circumstances of Trayvon Martin's death were Trayvon Martin's fault. Sorry, you jump on top of a guy and you bash him in the head several times and the guy's armed, you're probably going to come up on the wrong side of the stick on that one. So what did they do? Well, they looked through his Reddit history. We find out the New York Times, who may be leaving the Ken Bone zone. Ken Bone learns about election scrutiny the hard way. He's not running for anything. Why should he be drawn through the ringer as a citizen asking a question? Why should he be looked into to the depths of his background just because he asked a question? This is what we can expect from all our politicians, from the media, who is, as we have been finding out from the emails, is completely in bed with the DNC. If you ask the wrong question, we're going to come after you. We're going to ruin you. We're going to make you the worst person in the world. And we're going to make sure that people are going to go attack you. He even watched porn once. Holy shit. Porn on the internet? That's a new one. I had not heard that this was a thing. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to be gone for about 2-3 minutes, and I'll be back. He left a very not safe for work comment trail on Reddit. Oh my God. The New York Times, everybody's going after this guy. It's just crazy. So finally, Jake Tapper says the journalists out there with a history of sexual harassment and assault should probably be keeping a lower profile in this discussion. Apparently, he was the press twisted that to say the victims of sexual assault should be keeping a lower profile when they know damn well he meant the perpetrators of sexual assault. And as we've been finding out, there's a whole lot of it on the Democrat side. We can start with Bill Clinton and work our way down. So you be careful out there. As a citizen, you are not allowed to question the government. You are not allowed to ask a question that might make them embarrassed. You just keep your fucking mouth shut, okay? Or we are going to dig up every dirt on you. We're going to turn the entire power of the American press on you. Mr. $70,000 a year salary that just is, basically keeping to himself and just had a little question that he wanted to ask. Because we're going to find you. We're going to get you. That, in my opinion, is chilling. Anybody remember this student?
No, I don't agree with that.
Then why the fuck did you accept the position?
Because
Who
I have
the fuck hired you?
I have a different
You
vision
should
than you.
step down. If that is what you think about being a professor, you should step down. It is not about creating an intellectual space. It is not. Do you understand that? It's about creating a home here.
If you do, you remember that she was really upset about the American Indian Halloween costumes. Well, the University of Florida is making sure that everything is taken care of this year. So you have a 24/7 counselor at the University of Florida to take care of you if you see a Halloween costume you don't like. So if you see a white person wearing a Mexican sombrero, call the number. If you see a black person in a kimono, if you see anybody wearing any Polynesian or Hawaiian hula outfits, don't go to the bathroom, throw up, take some sort of antidepressant or something like that, because you could be dead from this. This could kill you, and I want you to call the Florida 24/7 Counseling and Wellness Center, and they will make sure that person in that sombrero can't hurt you. Fortunately, Virginia Tech decided to have a funeral for Halloween. So, if you want to participate, the Young Americans for Freedom chapter can participate on their campus by buying or making a coffin yard decoration, putting all the Halloween costumes in it, and decorating the box with gravestones and other ghoulish decorations. They should write an obituary for Halloween that explains how the campus crybabies are killing a fun and lighthearted holiday. For decades, the Halloween tradition encouraged people of all ages to assume a different identity for one night every year, allowing Americans to let loose and have fun while dressing up as their favorite Disney character, movie star, or political figure. Political correctness, an increasingly powerful and bloodthirsty force in the cultural landscape, vilified these good-humored, decent celebrants as racist perpetrators of cultural appropriation for donning sombreros, Pocahontas costumes, and kimonos in the spirit of their holiday. Participants are tasked with handing out obituaries and Halloween costumes at their display at high-traffic area. Students attend each funeral are encouraged to get rid of their culturally appropriated costumes in the coffin, since they will no longer be of use, lest students risk the wrath of the university's PC police. So, I guess they've created a home here. Thank God. You can't have any fun. That's crazy talk. So, a funeral for Halloween. That's wonderful. I'm very happy for them. I can understand, though. There's a very real danger of these crazy Republicans causing problems. being violent. They should be scared because the oh wait, this was the Republicans this happened to. The Nazi Republicans leave town or else. Vandals throw firebomb into North Carolina GOP office. The tolerant, the socially aware, the inclusive. A North Carolina Republican Party office in Orange County was firebombed overnight, causing major damage and destruction. Thankfully, there was no loss of life. The explosive device was thrown through the window of the office, and the words "Nazi Republicans leave town or else" was painted on a nearby building. You know, I mean, why don't you just burn a cross in front of them and be done with it? I mean, you know, if you're gonna act like KKK members, just do the whole 9 yards. What's stopping you here? Yeah, you've changed the object of your ire, but I mean, it's the same tactics. You're no better. You want maybe we can lynch a GOP member now. I mean, you know, they're filthy GOP people. They have wrong thoughts, wrong opinions. You know, you can burn their stuff down. Why not kill them? Why not beat them up? Drag them behind a truck. What's stopping you here? I mean, you know, you've obviously learned nothing from the 20th century. This is why we have Australia separating out men and calling all men predators and toxic simply from the virtue of something that they couldn't do anything about, their gender. They had no idea, you know, they didn't choose that, but just by being that, they are a lower form of life. So, you know, if you're a member of the GOP, you're a lower form of life, and whatever we do is fine. Doesn't matter. We can kill you. We can blow up your stuff. I'm not sure how this isn't a hate crime, but since I don't really believe in hate crimes, this is just crime. I don't think putting the word hate in front of it is a good idea, but this is exactly why you shouldn't have hate crimes, because you've now elevated a class of people who, if they got their place firebombed, the punishment would be more severe, simply because of this color of their skin, something they didn't choose. So blacks are better than whites, women are better than men, all on the basis of physical characteristics. Well done. Well done. We've taken all the lessons of Martin Luther King and thrown them in the dumpster. I no reason to even keep going on with this. So anyway, that's it for this week. I have another video coming out pretty soon. Again, I'd love you to like, share, subscribe, and please check out my video on how PCU predicted all this. It's a great movie, and I go into it in a lot of detail. It's in 4 parts, so please check it out. And thanks for listening, and hopefully I'm going to get better at this.